Welcome back to Uprising. I'm Sonali Kohatkar. News reports emerged early this week that the head of the Islamic State group, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, was so seriously injured in an airstrike in western Iraq that he no longer oversees the day-to-day control of the organization. It is the third such report of a strike assumed to have injured al-Baghdadi, but this time, two separate anonymous sources have confirmed the injury. The U.S.-led war on ISIS has sought to extend the same approach that it took against al-Qaeda, focused airstrikes aimed at so-called high-value targets. But the war seems not to have blunted the Islamic State's brutality. 30 Ethiopian Christians were shown to be beheaded and shot in videos recently released by ISIS. The victims were referred to as crusaders by ISIS soldiers. Meanwhile, here in the United States, a very different type of accountability for terrorist acts is playing out. A jury in April convicted Dzhokhar Tsarnaev of all 30 counts for which he was charged for his role in the Boston Marathon bombing that killed 3 people and injured hundreds. A sentencing trial has just begun, during which jurors were shown a photo of Tsarnaev showing his middle finger to the camera after being captured. The photo is intended to make the case that he remained, quote, unrepentant even after being arrested. A debate is now underway on whether he should receive the death penalty. My guest is Amir Nasr. He's a writer and educator. He's the author of My Islam, How Fundamentalism Stole My Mind and Doubt Freed My Soul. His article about ISIS was widely read. It was entitled, "ISIS Isn't the Real Enemy. The Game of Thrones Medieval Mindset That Birthed It Is." Welcome to Uprising, Amir.
Thank you for having me.
Well, first, before we turn to Dzhokhar Tsarnaev and what's playing out here on U.S. soil, let's talk about ISIS and the latest situation in the northern Iraq, Syria region. How important is it for the U.S. to make an example of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi? He seems to have become the new Osama bin Laden, and the killing of bin Laden, when that happened, was considered this great Western triumph over fundamentalism.
Well, I think, first of all, it's important to state and to acknowledge that we need to hold criminals and terrorists accountable for their actions. So that goes without saying, really. And yes, in a sense, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is sort of like a new Osama bin Laden. And, thankfully, Osama bin Laden was eliminated. And I think we can look at that only as a military triumph because we took out the head of al-Qaeda. However, is it really a triumph over fundamentalism? Is it really a triumph over the ideology? Frankly, I don't think so. You can take out the leaders of these organizations, you can hurt them and maim them, but if the ideology is still there, if the factors that gave rise to these groups are still there, then it's not a triumph.